Men come up to y'all. What's the matter here?
Ooh.
Does
Brad
Jen want to go
first.
first? Oh, come on. It's part of investigation.
What do you say?
I said
Part
it's
of
part of
investigation.
investigation.
I nod.
He just sort of like puffs up and reaches to his side where he has this little cudgel. What are you doing with Miss Adelia?
Oh, she's Miss Adelia. He holds up the writ from the fucking mayor. I don't know how else to do this. It's like, we believe she might have information about what is happening with kids, or with the children. So we were trying to talk to her, and then looks over his shoulder to where fucking Sebastian disappeared to. He wanted privacy words. I don't know. Words and privacy.
You see him sort of try to walk past you along with one other guy. What do you do?
I immediately spawned the little turret right in front of him.
Okay.
I
mean-
just like. I don't think so, gentlemen.
They just look at that. What the hell is that?
It charges up a little like burst of light. This is an eldritch cannon, and this is what you're going to be walking into if you take one step further. A large blast of lightning.
Roll me an intimidation with advantage.
Thank you.
Fucking
This is
pull a
probably
gun
like
on him.
one
Let's
of,
go.
this is like one of the coolest solutions ever been. Like you said that so like casually.
I'm gonna put a fucking 20. I'm gonna make that a
Plus
20.
5. Plus 5. Nice.
Want to use your
Pretty
dice
good for
for
minus
later,
one.
dude? Actually,
A single bead of sweat draw down his side.
Don't you dare sweat. It's going to hurt more that way. Now, are you going to back up and let us do our business? Or are you going to move forward?
He like takes a step back. Miss Adelia, you okay in there?
Miss Adelaide? Are you okay in there?
Yes, I'm quite fine.
See? Quite fine. What's your name, sir?
What's your badge number?
If anything, he'd be hitting out with that.
We were just
That's a-
leaving. I see you're working with the mayor. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries, gentlemen. Have a fine day.
You see them start heading back, and some very angry housewives yelling at them because they clearly did not do what they sent them to do.
Hey, go take care of those bullies. Oh, hey, they came back.
I got bullied. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm just a farmer.
Bradford
How tall
holds
were
up
they,
a,
by
like
the way?
like a fist bump over to Lucian.
He's like in a little like squat and he just puts his hand up to hit yours.
Good job.
Thank you.
Shit investigation. Good at stopping people from going through doors.
After that, Adelia just sort of takes a few deep breaths. Hope you found what you were looking for.
You've been monumental, Miss Adelia. And I do plan on living up to my word if you want to leave town. We'll clear up any misgivings. I'm often the scapegoat on things. What's one more? An overzealous watchman. Looking for results.
People talk. I might not have the time.
What do you mean not have the time? To leave? To back up?
It's dangerous when you're exotic.
Are you unable to cast the spell again?
No. Not for a while. But she looks down at the card she laid on the table. Be careful.
Those cards. Who are they for?
As she gets them up and begins cleaning the soot and coal off her face. I told you. I don't deal in the prophecy of death.
She did grab his arm to pull those cards. Nice.
So, let's sort of transition from there. Y'all head over to the tent city to find this lady who gave you information. Well, said she was going to give you information, rather. You begin going, and you don't need to roll anything. It's 6 rows of tents. You've been there before.
I can only count to 4 though.
Okay, then roll survival. If you get less than a 4, yeah, roll it. If you get less than a 4, you're failing. Yeah, you're failing. Don't get less than a 4.
Yeah, fuck you.
Did Jericho lose a finger, and that's why you can only count to 4?
Okay,
Is that more than 4? I don't know. I recognize this number.
I don't see a number more than 4 there.
What if you add them all together? Or is addition to advanced?
What do you mean add? What is that?
Well, he can't count over 4, so he couldn't do that. Anyway, so you could lost. Alright, so you arrive back there where you see people are doing sort of random productive things. But unlike other places, they don't really have, like, they're not craftsmen. They have little wares and they do work, and you see a lot of these guys are the ones that go over to harvest the coal and the other materials from the isle. Being unskilled laborers, there's not really much for them besides that. So, bottom of the totem pole type work. So, there's not a lot of presence here from adults. You do, well, roll perception, all of y'all.
Kia.
Oh, that's really good.
Thank you, 4.
That's pretty good too.
I mean,
So you do see that there's an older girl out here sort of like wrangling the kids that are around. Like normally you would see them like real cloistered to their parents, but the ones that aren't are with this young lady who, as you notice her from a distance there, Valkyrie, she does have like a small like dirk at her side as well as a bow on her back. Even though she like at most is 16. You begin to proceed down the way. Is there anything you do before arriving there?
I'll look over. Is the grandpa who is like shining shoes still out there?
He is.
All right, I might hit him up later.
Well, rather, I guess you would see him sort of heading into the city proper with his equipment.
Oh, okay.
As, people out here in the muck and mud aren't really getting their shoes shined.
No.
But do we do anything on the way there? No, I think he'll just because I don't think she was here when we were here last. He'll just catch Valkyrie up and say, this lady we're visiting is, well, her kid was the first victim. She's gone months with little to no progress on this investigation, and I think she's lost all hope. So, just to put it in the context, I doubt she'll be in the best of moods.
Do we know, this is her only child?
if this is her only child. He gives a half shrug. I didn't hear any children, but then again, I only spoke to her through her door. Don't even know what the lady looks like.
I'm curious why she had us come back today.
Well, it was curfew when we spoke. Didn't want to let any dark beasties in the house, I reckon.
Right, fear, but fear from who?
Who do you think?
As you head up to the house, you notice that the door is slightly ajar.
Just knock on the window, not windowsill, on the door frame.
Door jam.
Door jam.
This lady opens the door, hiding mostly behind it, and beckons you to sort of come into her wagon.
With a quick nod of the head and a quiet thank you, he steps on in.
As you head in, you see that it is like sort of divided into like there's like a front room, a small rear room, and then like the middle living room.
Lovely place.
She just sort of like sits down on this rug she has, and you can tell she's quite disheveled, looks rather doesn't smell particularly great, and probably it is clearly just not taking care of herself.
She's just sitting on the floor on this rug.
Correct. Yeah, there's no like furniture per se
Yeah.
to sleep on.
So after taking the rest of the place in, unkempt as it were, I think Jericho will kind of sit on the floor across from her, or I guess squat more so. What does everyone else do?
I'll take a seat too.
There's probably room for about like 6 people in here to fit, like somewhat cramped, but able to fit.
Well, I'll make sure to leave her crossbow leaning up against by the door, like de-weaponing to come in.
What do you want to know?
Your child was the first one taken, we've heard.
My son. Yes.
What was his name?
Justin.
How old was he?
11.
It's a beautiful name. Sorry for your loss.
I imagine you've heard that too much, haven't you?
You'd be surprised how little people care when it's not their own child.
I think he nods. What was the official response like after it happened? How did the guard respond?
Lord Marshal came to see me himself. Got some details. Said they would get to the bottom of it. That's the last time I ever saw.
Interesting. Lord Marshal came himself. How soon after the disappearance did he come visit you?
That same day.
The same day? Quick response.
I
Not
was
much to show for it.
quite frantic and looking all over. The word traveled fast and he found me.
And what is your name, miss?
Melissa.
I'm supposed to give you my call sign, but well, dealt with all that. Didn't call me Jericho for what it's worth.
Oh, she's a genie. You're cursed.
Shauna strikes again.
Do I see an air wrinkle? Is there an air pressure change?
She just says, he was such a... He wasn't perfect, but he was a good, strong boy. He was going to make something of himself.
Was there anything odd around the time he went missing?
Not particularly. I kept telling him not to stay out so late. But you know how kids can be. They don't always listen.
He disappeared late at night.
He came home, but he seemed bothered.
Bothered.
It's hard to explain, but he seemed off. I don't
Did
know.
he seem afraid, or was it something else?
I guess looking back on it, that seems likely.
Do you know where we've been at night?
A lot of the boys volunteer with the farmers, helping pick up what they can, and we get a small bit of the yield. Normally that's what he did, but he'd been hanging out with some of the older kids. I kept telling him they were a bad influence on him.
Hung out with rough crowd.
Was it the farm near the mayor's estate, or the farmland near the south of town?
To the east, yes.
What? Who are these older kids you was hanging out with? Other city folk?
Some of the others. One of them went missing too.
And where did they live?
That curly-haired boy from the south part of town.
Gilead boy.
Do you know his name?
She sort of thinks. Court. Think that was his name.
Court.
Kept
And-
telling him, Justin, your father would not want you hanging out with these boys. But he was just going through a phase.
This Court. What's his situation like? What was his situation like? Did he live with his parents?
I'm sure the people that came from inside the gates when we all came over here all thought they were so special. Guess Justin felt like he was getting ahead by hanging out with.
Around what time did Court disappear?
Can't say.
Do you know if any of the boys from that same group, besides Court, disappeared?
I don't know. That was the only one Justin talked about. Idolized him. Wanted to be just like him.
Do you know who Court's parents are?
I don't. Southtown. I'm sure you'll be able to find him.
Thank you. children around that age. They're always so. What's the word? Not formative. They're so like you can manipulate them easily. What is that called?
Oh, impressionable.
Impressionable. Yes. Children around your Justin's age are always so impressionable. They find something exciting, they'll latch onto it, even if it's a bad influence. It's not your boy's fault. Nor is it yours.
You just see like her starting to lose her composure. Is this like seems like the first time anyone's actually talked to her since it all happened. She just like starts sobbing. It's all I had left.
We understand. More than you might think. We're good at keeping secrets. You don't need to put a brave face on for us. Anything you say or do stays within these walls. Just want you to know that. He's quiet for a moment as he just jots down the things she's been saying. As I write those in the list of victims.
She just like keeps sobbing, repeating, "He's a good boy." Before, after a moment, she just says, "I think I'd like to be alone."
Of course. You've been a great help, miss. We'll get to the bottom of this.
If you find whoever's doing this, make them suffer.
He shakes his head. It's not
That
a
would be
violence,
fun.
miss. But whatever's doing this will regret it.
And she sort of ushers you out.
Is
She
there
says,
like a table
Mhm.
or anything in here, or like I don't know, like anything?
yeah, like a small central table, I guess, that they'd eat off of.
As we walk by it, I'm gonna just try to non-conspicuously set 10 gold on it.
As you walk out, she just says, "And tell all them fools it won't do any good, boarding up their windows and doors.
Why is that?
Mine were all closed and locked when I woke up and he was gone."
He was. Was he in here when he disappeared?
She just points to the back of the house. Right back there.
I don't,
Go on.
I don't mean anything by it, ma'am. Did he ever leave after everyone had gone to sleep, or have a trick of closing the window behind himself?
No, he never snuck out.
Can I
He-
insight check that?
Absolutely. He
Again,
might have
I
ran
can-
with some bad kids, but he worked hard. He was tired when he got home.
Of course, of course. I know my brothers could be slipperier than most when they wanted to be.
She seems she believes that at least.
Okay. That he wouldn't do such a thing like that.
Do we see anything on the inside in the back?
The door's closed.
Can we look where he was sleepy?
She just sort of like looks between the three of y'all. If you think it'll help, just don't leave everything like you found it.
Absolutely.
No.
Kick the door open. No, the door was always broken. What are you talking about? Yeah, no. Go inside. Thank you, Crash.
Is there a window in the back room or the back
There is.
partition?
Mhm.
And she said
Is
it
there
was
any-
boarded up.
Sign? She said it was locked, not boarded up, right?
Okay.
Correct. She didn't put any boards on her house because, what's the worst that's going to happen?
This.
Is there any sign that the lock's been damaged or tampered with?
It's just a little catch lock. Like if someone had enough force, they could either break the window or force it open. But it is completely untouched.
How big is the window?
It would be hard for even an 11-year-old to sort of sneak out of.
Okay.
It's probably like 1 foot tall by 2 feet wide.
1 foot by 2 feet. That's really small.
Yeah, it would be what you could like look out to see ahead of the wagon as it's being pulled.
Okay. 2 feet. I'm having trouble visualizing 2 feet and also the shoulder width of a 11-year-old. Do we reasonably think that an 11-year-old could get through this window, if not sneak out of it? Like pulled through
Okay.
it?
So
Probably.
put like your arm up and look at the distance between your elbow and your forearm.
'Kay.
Right? Now
Yeah.
put your wrist to your other wrist and look at
Gotcha.
the distance between your elbow and forearm.
Mhm.
That's 1 foot by 2 foot.
Gotcha. That is not much.
No. Are there any of the kiddo's personal effects in the room?
There's like some dirty clothes, a bed that is was slept in. The boots are on the ground. A pair of working gloves is there. Jericho, roll me an insight though, real quick.
Ooh.
20. Okay. Could a person sneak out of this? No. Could you get out of this window? Easily.
As long as I can see. I think Jericho, hands on his hips, just looks over his shoulder as he's like standing at this window. He says, Valk, Sheriff,
Mm-hmm.
humor me for a second. He looks out the window and he shadow steps right onto the other side of it. And then he turns around looking in and holds up his hands like, huh? Huh?
I nod at him.
And then he shadow steps back in. Could be dealing with something that uses shadow arts.
At
Oh.
least something similar.
There's no mist in this town, correct?
Occasionally, but at the moment.
Could be a mist walker if there was mist that night, but have we seen any mist the whole time we've been in town?
Literally right outside the gates within a couple 100 meters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But inside the town?
I mean, regardless, any kind of anyone who can pop away 50 feet. It doesn't have to be missed.
There are other ways to, beam through a door, of course, but a window right there. But would something try to steal a child waste their magic on that? My shadow arts, they're effortless. I can do whenever I want, as long as it's dark enough. And if this young bloke disappeared at night, well, there's plenty of darkness around.
I'll step back in the other room with Alyssa. Can I ask you another question?
Yeah, she looks fairly like weathered, but what is it?
Do you know if any of his personal effects are missing and what it might be?
I didn't see anything gone. It's like
Okay.
he's just disappeared.
I'll take her hand. By the light, I swear, I'll find who or what did this.
She just nods. I think I'm going to lay down.
We'll see ourselves out.
As you head out, do y'all regroup?
I reckon, yeah. Head back towards the markets. Everything does anyway.
Um,
If you want to do something.
so without the powers of magic, Adelaide is still able to obscure herself with a cloak and a mask and appear hunched. Is that correct?
No, the hunch was definitely from the.
This guy self?
Mhm.
Shit. Can we fake a hunch by putting stuff on her back? I don't know. He would ask her if she's comfortable coming with them, not under arrest, but to get her somewhere safe.
She's gonna let you know she's gonna stay inside for the rest of the day, so she can remanage a disguise.
Fair enough. Fair enough. He will leave her 200 gold, though. I'll be back. I owe you that.
She just like tries to tuck it somewhere safe. We'll see what the future holds.
If you need to stay somewhat safe, we can stash you in the Mel's estate until all of this blows over.
That is the last place I would want to be.
It would be the last place anyone would think to check. Well, we're here at least. What of the Lord Marshal? Is he a trustworthy sort? Would he be able to protect you?
I'll be fine.
Insight check. She'll be fine. I hope so. I'll still be back regardless.
As you head out and do begin to regroup, I will say to Alpha Team, Lucky catches up with you all after having broke off without saying anything.
Lucky, where did you go?
Had some investigation to do.
Right, and that was what now?
So check it out. Remember that girl?
Mm-hmm.
So turns out she's been on the lookout for stuff, and she knows some people. She said she'd talk with us tomorrow. That's good news. Good. Yeah, thanks. Oh, good job, Lucky. Yeah. He grabs Seraph's hand and like high fives it.
This is Crash asking which girls you're referring to?
Thank God, I'm not
The
doing
one they saw. Y'all didn't see her, but
Saw like a teenage girl who's in charge of all the unaccounted for children.
Seraph will give him a more genuine half hug. I'm glad you're here, Lucky.
thank you.
And that's not me. What happened tomorrow?
Correct.
We're at 4 days until the next anticipated disappearance.
Indeed. So
So,
as
yeah.
you group up, what do y'all go about doing? Well, I
has
assume y'all have some information, but yeah.
Mhm.
Has it been 6 hours since Lucky said that? Hey, check on the
Mhm.
big sleepy thing. I'll check on the big sleepy thing.
It is big sleeping.
I will
Yo,
mark down.
same.
Do I need to spend a second level slot? No, I only need to spend a first level slot. I usually have extra slots.
Do we
Yeah,
have
sure, second level.
any leads we can follow
First
today?
level. First level.
Well,
I'm assuming we're doing a short rest right now, so I'm just gonna use Arcane to get a spell slot back.
no. Well, we, being Alpha Team, found out another victim caught disappeared in South Town sometime after the first victim, obviously. And he was, well, they were both in a bit of a rough crowd, not exactly the best kids. Caught more so, is what Miss Alyssa was talking about. But of
Was it
course,
Alyssa or Melissa?
Alyssa.
Melissa.
Melissa.
Alyssa-
Well,
Alyssa's a
Alyssa was the
kid,
little
right?
girl. Mhm.
Yeah.
It's okay. They sound real similar.
people can have the same name. But yeah, Melissa. Miss Melissa. Of course, she's a bit biased. She wouldn't think that her own darling kid who disappeared was a bad kid. But regardless, I doubt Court's on the up and up. Court was on the up and up. Sound like a bad bloke, which may be a motive for the monster doing this.
A bad kid. A naughty child.
Sure.
Never collaborate with the prophecy I got. We spoke with our fortune teller. She's more than she appears.
Did you get your fortune told?
Those two did. Fortunes of love and prospects.
The most generic
Okay,
shit you
we're-
could ever actually.
Congratulations.
We're gonna hold on to that love one, but let's get to the good prophecy and then we'll circle back to it.
Yeah, let's circle back.
I was gonna say, so we know she's full of shit.
He's got like we're not like in like a place where people are like listening, are able to listen on us, I assume.
Correct.
Denny's.
Right. Yeah, you're right. That's always empty.
Thank God it's not a Wendy's.
She's more than a charlatan. She had the ability to disguise herself with magic.
Oh,
She's not an old lady. She's a young woman from Shamash. She tells me, not here, but the previous town, that these denizens are from Brigandale. Young women disappear. She did not discuss why, how, who takes them, and she said it as if it's some sort of commonly accepted occurrence. So she disguises herself with magic.
If it means anything, she may not be just an advanced caster, because as dragon marks go, you tend to have just innate magical abilities.
Do you
dragon
think it's
marks.
She's a dragon
possible
mark, yes.
whoever was disappearing the women is now disappearing these kids?
I don't think so. I don't believe so. I think she would have indicated such. She seemed rather tight-lipped about the disappearing women, treating all of this as if it were two different crimes. But she did give me a prophecy. You're right, Watchman Saturday. She's not an advanced caster simply for disguising herself, but she is an advanced caster for the ritual she did inside that caravan. She told me she could answer one question. I asked about the missing children, of course. She gave me this rhyme of prophecy. Little children, one by one. And he'll just recite it. So, this Justin may or may not have been a naughty child. This court was. You came up with this on the fly? Hey, good job, damn. Good rhyme, bro. Where's your
I'm
grammar
never
good job?
shaking.
Nightmares, right? It is creeping.
Through the windows, through the house.
Naughty children's curtain call.
I don't think I need to elaborate on the last two words. I doubt we'll find any living children.
Curtain call, though. Is this monster a thespian? That seems quite deliberate.
It's a common term for the end of one. He just does like a neck slicing motion. I don't know what rhetoric a prophecy has to follow.
Has to rhyme, seems like. Maybe that's why.
Perhaps. But it is an interesting insight.
When it says follow till the day is done, does that mean
It
the kids
targets them
follow
in the
it or
day.
it follows them? Okay.
Follow till the day is done. That does track with what we heard from Melissa. She made it seem like, well, her Justin, young boy, 11, he
Had
seemed
been
nervous.
spooked.
Yeah. Maybe killer, kidnapper, whatever you want to call it, visits its victims before he takes them.
That would fit with the sadicism. Shit, is that a word? That's a word, right?
It's close enough.
Sadism?
Sadism? Sadism?
Look, who cares about grammar at some point?
Right.
Sadistic?
Sadicism. We're doing it, damn it.
Sadism.
But it would have to be observed to have this effect on children. We would not know to be afraid of a watcher if we do not know we're being watched.
Right.
So it visits its children. These children, the targets, visibly. But not so drastically to a point that the children would not immediately go and get a guard.
He holds up a finger at Viper, like, hold on a second. Nightmares Rain. Maybe it doesn't visit physically. Or instead it does it psychologically. Can that be done?
Certainly. There's even a long gone spell that can do such. Legends say powerful casters can cast it and visit you in your dreams.
This gets harder. Okay. So maybe physical, maybe in the dreams. Definitely take. Shit, what if it takes him into a dream? How do we fight that?
Go to sleep.
How do we even confirm with the night that it's in a dream? How do we get into a dream?
Right.
Let's calm down. Pulling a physical entity into another location is a matter of teleportation, a different league entirely.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be killing things quite physically given our late mage until. So it's a question of how does it move the bodies.
Right. And there's no sign of entry into that wagon.
No, and the window is very small.
I was able to shadow step through it, but I can't take people with me when I do that, which means it has to be something different.
A mistwalker can take others.
But that's a
There's not
very
a lot
rare
of
skill.
miss in this town.
Also,
But
though,
maybe that's why it...
Shit. All right. Tonight, whenever we're clear, we'll set up. I'll contact Wombat, see what he knows. We'll get him on sources. He might know something more. That's his jam. He knows all about that stuff.
Very good.
All right. What else do we got?
The island. See if they dug too deep and awoke some ancient evil. Perhaps the
The
mage hunters have
islands.
turned up a lead that we have not.
And Southtown, where Court lived.
I
Right.
do
We
also
got a
want to
court. Go ahead.
I do also want to visit the most recent victim over at East Town. Go speak to Court's parents, who knows. Then
Right.
find out who disappeared in East Town, see if there's a correlation between the three.
If the kids were all from the same group, like Court's little gang, that's maybe how the killer's choosing.
And could give us a lead on who the next kid is intended to be.
Be awfully convenient. I mean, a child's disappeared from every corner of this town. South Town, North Town, East Town, all the 10 cities.
Right.
Not saying it's impossible, just unlikely.
If it knows we're here, there's no guarantee it follows its same order. Right?
Right.
That makes sense.
So we need max security on the estate.
If it's following the same target pattern. If.
Right. But it probably has a compunction, right? Like it wants to follow him. It wants to do its thing. It wants to, you know. He just like shivers a little. You know, it wants to get his
It's
jollies
created a
off on it.
habit.
Okay, it is what it
Yeah.
is.
It's created the habit.
The
for us.
Baron